stock market education company in the world that has a live open microphone. How is that still possible? They have seen what we have done for people. It's crazy. We trade stocks, options, and futures here at American Dream Trading. So if you guys are interested in, we do have a 7-day trial. You guys can go to our website, americandreamtrading.com. Get signed up, check out the trial. With the regular paid membership, by the way, it's $200 a month. With the regular paid membership, you guys will get access to our Zoom training starting at 8:45 all the way to 4 p.m. every single day that the market is open. When you're ready to step it up, with a VIP membership, you will get daily masterclass training with me starting at around 8 o'clock. We will train or trade or both. You're also going to get early pre-market access starting at 4 a.m. Eastern. You guys will be in there with other moderators and some of our millionaires. You guys will also get access to the VIP lounge. All the workshop classes will be free and they were recorded so you can catch all the previous ones. VIP training videos only to you, and our trading view indicators, which you guys can use our overlay. You just have to have a trading view subscription, which is about $15 to $17. When you're ready to step it up, if you're a VIP and only if, you can then get a VIP gold add-on, which by the way, right now is half off, $250 a month if you just want to add on the VIP gold add-on. You're going to get all the mastermind classes for free, 1 hour of tech support where we can remote in and help you get your charts and everything set up. That is not to discuss your accounts, financial information. That's not a one-on-one. You guys are also going to get weekend training every Saturday. We've been doing that at 11 o'clock. The VIP Gold Lounge access, the VIP Gold Priority Help Desk support, the brand new news service, and you guys are going to get the breakout rooms every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, again, to work with our moderators and some of our other millionaires. When they're in the room, they're busy, but when they're in there, you guys can also ask them questions. I think we are still the only stock market education company in the world that has a live open microphone. How is that still possible? They have seen what we have done for people. It's crazy. You guys will be able to ask questions all day with people that have literally made millions of dollars in this room. Who else has that? Nobody. Sale, 6 months VIP membership. You get 6 months of VIP gold for free for the first 6 months.
Welcome to the Aftermarket. American Dream Trading. You have entered the Aftermarket. AmericanDreamTrading.com. Welcome. You are now in the Aftermarket. Welcome to American Dream Trading's The Aftermarket Live Chat and Watch Party. I'm your host, J&J Video Reacts, and we are here. You are here. And Palm Coast is here. So I'm excited about tonight. Palm Coast came up with an amazing idea to talk about the point in a trader's career where it all of a sudden becomes a lot less awkward and a little bit more graceful. You hear athletes talk about when the game slows down for them. And I liken it, the pushing and the pulling, to that. I'm excited to hear what he's got to say on that and get some learning on. So I suggest you guys get your pens and paper out or your keyboard, whatever you want to do to take some notes, because I'm sure we're going to get some nuggets tonight. Just a few housekeeping rules. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video out if you have not already done so. And make sure that you guys are clicking that AmericanDreamTradingLink.com up pinned to the top of this video. Right now, if you get 6 months worth of the, I'm sorry, I have a splitting headache, so if I seem a little don't worry about it. I'm getting through it. But we have 6 months of futures, gets you 6 months of VIP membership as well. So go ahead and get signed up for the futures, and you guys can take full advantage of that. If I'm not mistaken, I think we still might be having the 6 months worth of VIP. Also gets you 6 months of VIP gold for free. So always, that's your opportunity to check that out. You can only get gold if you're a VIP member, so you got to do that. And don't forget Coach's mentor training that he does, and that is every Thursday, and it's like a one-on-one with him every week. So you got to treat yourself to that. Another housekeeping rule is the Restream link. It is down there. I put it in there. Miranda in the live chat. Miranda's down there. In the description of the video, I have the new event one, but I go ahead and put the one once. I think once we go live, that other one becomes available. I don't know how to find it otherwise. So I just, when we go live, it's actually a current event instead of new and hasn't started yet. So that link tends to work. So I just go ahead and put that in. But go ahead and click the Restream link if you want to come up here and join the panel. Ask Palm Coast any questions. Ask myself any questions. We are here to train you and help you get a better understanding of Coach's rules and his strategies. And who is Coach? Coach is Chad W. Christian, 32-year stock market veteran. He has literally traded in every market condition imaginable, and he is the best coach and mentor that we could possibly have because he uses a live open mic to train us. Nobody else in the world is doing that. We get to interact with him daily, watch him trade and watch him train. And he does way more training than trading. Today was a rare occasion where he did some trading for us as well. He did a lot more in the beginning, but he's created over 10 millionaires. So there's no need for him to prove himself any longer. The proof is in the pudding. He's already retired over 100 people and created over 10 millionaires. You tell me if the man doesn't know what he's talking about. So he obviously knows how to trade if he trained them to do that, right? So with that being said, go ahead and smash that like button and click the AmericanDreamTrading.com link to go ahead and get signed up so you can become a member and get some of the learning that we and the other people have gotten. Shout out to Ange. We are now doing futures at American Dream Trading. You know us as a stock and options stock market education company, but we are now including futures and soon to come crypto. But from 12 to 4 every day, there is a live Zoom call that you can get on and learn from Ange and Aaron and Mark McSee over there. Ange is heading that up, and she is doing a fantastic job. Speaking of Ange, shout out to her because she is one of the unicorns of the organization. She, in 9 months, has managed to retire from her 9-to-5 job. She has done so well with American Dream Trading. Started her account with $500. So if that doesn't tell you that it's happening over here, guys, it's happening over here. So you want to quit your job? It's a possibility. Come on over here and get your learn on. All right. We've got one of the awesome moderators, Palm Coast, in here. He's backstage waiting to give us some of his tutelage. I also get tips on this stream because it's part of my income, and I appreciate any of you who send the tip through. It is located in the description of the video. It is so cool. This weekend I was sitting there and all of a sudden I get a $30 tip from Norman. And thank you, Norman. I appreciate you, brother, so much. Thank you. That went right to the food lion. So appreciate you, man. And yeah, so without further ado, don't forget to again, subscribe and smash that like button. I'm going to go ahead and let Palm Coast in here. And let's see what we're going to be. Let's get our learn on. Palm.
Dawn, how you doing?
Hey, brother. How are you?
Good. Did you have a nice weekend?
I did. Very relaxing. I actually did work, a lot of video work this weekend. We were put together a nice little intro for Ange. So we're going to do an outro for her and get her set up. And then I'm going to go back to helping Arlo out and put some shorts out. And Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of video editing, more editing than trading right now, and that may be a good thing. Give me a chance to pause for the cause and regroup. But you'd have been proud of me this morning. I got in, I got green, and I got out on quite a few of the penny stocks. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, man. My head is pounding. I
It's
think
already
it's
a
from
long day.
staring at the phone and doing all that all
Yeah,
day. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
But I'm excited. I was excited to do the thumbnail for. Did you get a chance to look at it?
Yeah, I love it. It's really
You
cool.
like? Yeah,
Nice artwork.
I like the concept and the thought of it. Yeah. So is F2 here? Because I know you mentioned you would love to talk to F2. Hey guys, I see you down there, darn cricket. Vegan knowledge, my beautiful wife. Hi, honey. How are you? Paula, welcome, honey. There's F2. F2, come on up, man. You know you are Palm's favorite this week and every week. And all of our favorite, man. I love F2, don't you? He's just
Hell
so
yeah.
humble, and so low key, but and modest. But he is really coming up. He is really making it happen.
He's doing very exciting things for sure.
Let's see. Bucko 504. I see you down there, brother. Welcome. All right, Thomas. Thomas, what's up? All right, I think we got F2 backstage. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, just getting in from work and getting set up, and missed a little bit of the beginning and heard the part of F2 come up. So, and I appreciate everything Palm Coast says about me. And when I caught it the other day, and he was bragging on me in that in front of the hose, and that makes somebody feel pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome, brother. I see Ange popped into the room too.
Ange, what's up, honey? Great show today. You look fantastic. I love the OBS thing going on over there. Her and her pink.
Yeah, she's got her hands full getting the new section of education getting all fired up over there.
Up and running, yeah. Yeah. She's doing a good job though.
For sure. All right. Well, anyway, I guess we'll break into tonight's topic just a little bit. So it doesn't matter if you've ever been a trader before, or if you just had friendships, relationships, jobs. It just seems like when you start a new job or you start a new relationship, there's a lot of push. There's push to get things right. There's a little bit of anxiety, kind of sorting things through, wondering if you're doing the right thing, constantly reevaluating stuff, and that can be like exhausting and stressful, and you're pushing. So, Dawn, like early in a relationship, and it can be a personal, it can be a intimate relationship, it can be a friendship relationship. Doesn't it take like weeks and months, and sometimes even years, to find your stride with somebody?
I guess it depends on the chemistry you guys have. It didn't take long for me and my wife, but I know what you mean. It can, yeah.
That's a little different. I mean, if you're kind of working your way into a new social circle or something like that, and it's not that you're pushing and necessarily to some great extents, but there's always a certain part of, I wonder if, next time they get together, are they going to invite me out to go and do things or something?
Right.
And so, you're kind of on your best behavior. I jokingly we send our representative to new meetings. Our representative is our perfect version of ourselves. We don't screw up. We don't accidentally fart in the room.
Okay, speaking of what you just said, it took her 10 years to fart in front of me. Okay, yeah. She wouldn't do it.
How about leaving the bathroom door open? That's always a good one for couples.
And she still denies it. That wasn't me. That was the chair. It squeaked.
No, that's fine. The chair. So anyway, there's always when we send our best representative out, or anytime we get started, we're always pushing and stuff. We do the same thing when it comes to businesses or trading. When we start a new job, We have to get in. We have to go through the training, the training seminars. We have to watch the little videos. We have to go shadow somebody. We have to follow them around. Hopefully, we don't screw it up too much. Then we're hoping for that person to give the recommendation that we can take the training wheels off and go run around by ourselves. But it's push. There's a lot of work, a lot of layering, a lot of development, a lot of mental disciplines going on, building on the things that we already know and trying to add things that we need to know.
Yeah.
And then over the course of time, just like when you're in a relationship, you get to the point where some of those things that you fuss about really don't matter so much because you've hit a stride. And when you've got this kind of new group of friends, maybe you've moved to a new town and stuff, and they're starting to call you back a little more often, saying, "Hey, we got something going on Friday night. Do you want to swing by or whatever?" So kind of that effort comes full circle and kind of pushing to make your best efforts and stuff to develop a new social circle or develop a new relationship or develop a new position where you're working. That push starts to become pull. Yeah. And anybody who's coming in and working with trading for the very first time, or maybe hasn't done much of it, or just pretty much knew that they had a retirement account at work and they're just starting to pay attention to it, goes through the exact same thing. And that's quite a challenge. And for some people, it's pretty damn quick. For some people, it's years. Some people, it's months. When I could go through all the time possibilities, but there's a lot of things that kind of have to come into orientation to do that. And we talk about having a mind to trade, a trading mindset and stuff. A lot of those things occur inside our head: anxiety, fear, volatility. And we talked about that repeated
just
anxiety.
like in the market.
Yeah, it was what we talked about on choppy days and stuff. There's that fear when things dip out, and there's the anxiety, or maybe the euphoria when things go up, and they're bouncing up and down, and then those things collide too much, within a short period of time. It creates anxiety. Anxiety shifts your mindset, makes you tentative, makes you not necessarily want to enter, or you take too long to get into a trade and stuff. All that stuff is related to the push side. The longer that you're in it, the more you immerse yourself in it, the more you develop those mental baselines. Over the course of time, you just keep taking those steps, one after another, and you start linking enough positive steps together. And then we talk about that, reaching kind of a part of a balance, an equilibrium, and then push starts to become pull. So when we're starting off, it's really not a miracle, and we've talked about it quite a bit recently about just trading a single share on your paper trading account, or just if people insist on using cash, just getting in, you've heard me say it 1,000 times: get in, get green, get out. Just practicing, and really that's just to reinforce entering trades, because it doesn't really matter how much you make at that point, and you can worry about how far to stretch things. You can learn in the ADT executable trading strategy what to look for and how to watch for the signs that something's starting to run out of gas, the farther up the chart it goes. But if you can get in, get a green trade, and get out, and establish a baseline of success, you're working through that pushing process. So doing it over and over and over again, you're doing the most important thing, which is entering the trade. Right. And you realize very quickly, if you wait too long, you're at the top of the chart, then it starts to pull back on you. And that's most new traders, they buy high and sell low. Well, the reason they do it is because it takes so long to become confident, if you're trading emotionally, that you buy at the top of the chart and things look like they've stabilized, and it's like, okay, well, things are nice and high and they've stabilized and they're not really going up and down. That should be a great place to buy, right? Oh, hell no. So it might be a pause on the way up, but quite often things tend to roll over and stuff. But anyway,
and then if you got a great mentor like coach who teaches you, calls on support, puts on resistance.
Yeah. All those things that you look to do, all of the mental boot camp type stuff that we do. It doesn't have to be painful. You simplify and you take the pain away by taking bite-sized chunks, and on your paper trading account. The simplest way to do it is just take one share, buy it, buy it when you're supposed to, based on the trading strategy, and you do it over and over and over and over until it makes sense.
That's where I'm at.
And then if you get in and you're getting those greens every time, then it's natural, it's organic to become a little bit greedy and starting to want to see how far that thing can go. And then you're starting, then after you really get the hang of your market entries, and you're putting your loss prevention in place, you know, putting that stop underneath it, then as things move up, then all of a sudden the other things that you're listening to, as far as what coach is talking about and the moderators are talking about, things we talk about all afternoon long, is all, you know, how the other indicators and stuff play into that. So you're pushing to learn to get in. You're pushing to learn to have the discipline to keep it simple. You're pushing to not be greedy because you're only using one share to start with, and you're pushing your disciplines by using a paper trading account because it's your first instinct to use cash. And we say all the time, this is an education program. This is not a live, you know, this is not something where we're encouraging you to throw your money in. This is so that you begin to understand it, so that when you do understand it, then you can put money into it. Right. And we say it all the time. This is an education program. So the goal at some point, if you haven't found it yet, it's okay. It's perfectly okay. And Forrest actually kind of had talked about it briefly this afternoon. He said, man, he says, I really love when he says, I can hear from Coach, I can hear from you. And he says, and sometimes I just need to hear it from somebody who's at the same point in the process.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that a little bit more. And because Coach is painting, you know, pretty quickly, and he's using broad brush strokes. And then we take in the afternoon, we dive into those things a little bit further, into the exact same concepts, and start to add more color to the canvas, you know, figure out things that are a little bit more. And then I like to ask questions too, and ask people that are, can you relate to this, or can you tell me what you're doing with this, or can you tell me why you entered, this, so we can start to explore those thought processes. And as soon as that person starts talking, other people start chiming in a little bit. Oh God, that's exactly where I'm at. And that's the whole point, is that little bit of discovery and that little bit of sharing. And it's like in that solidarity between, people that are trying to do the same thing. And it's it's just really so exciting, because
I love it, because I'm actually still on that level, because I'm so scattered. I'm, in between different things that I'm doing throughout the day, and I don't focus on it like I want to be as successful as quickly as I'd like to. But I do get it, and I know what I'm doing now, so I'm happy about that. Now at this point, it's not a priority for me to, because I don't use it to pay my bills. I'm simply in it to make sure that I'm doing the process correctly. Sizing up will come down the road. Right now, I'm just getting in, getting green, and getting out. And it's so funny, because coming in the morning at 4 a.m, you get that training with Nate and Mark and and the others, and you really take the time to learn, because I find that the whole push theory, a lot of times I realized I was pushing against myself.
Yes.
I was
100%.
I was pushing against myself, doing the same dumb crap by staying in a trade way too long when it was inappropriate. And I used to tell you this before. I would get in and get green, no problem. I wouldn't get out. Was the problem. And when you started hammering, and I watched Nate do it, and Coach does it because he's a scalper, Ange, get in, get green, get out. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter the amount of money. So I kind of found an alarm for myself, right? And I meant to tell you this the other day. Kind of found a little alarm for myself, a little internal alarm. You know how when you get up the same time every morning, after a while, you don't need an alarm clock, you just get up because you got that internal thing going on? Well, the same thing holds true when I reach a point in a trade that I've got an amount of money that I like. And instead of me pushing that trade, and pushing the envelope, we talked about that, and trying to get more and more money, and the greed kicks in. When I said, oh, I made $45, not bad. Right then, ding, 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 ding should go off. If I'm thrilled with that 45 and it's still going, Okay, great. But as soon as that wick comes in, or to your point, as soon as it gives you any kind of indication that it's tiring out, get out of there. Stop reaching for more money. You already acknowledged that what you've made is enough. Now, it's stupid to get out of it and still climbing. But if I acknowledge that, hey, this is a good amount, that's my alarm. Hey, I don't need any more than this right now to be happy with this trade.
Well, initially it's just to repeatedly cement the entries.
Yeah.
And then as you start to get more, see, you've already like jumped 2 steps ahead on that, just because you realize you're pushing against yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a huge realization. And then the second is, I've reached a point where this is a substantial trade. Now what do I do? And those are the things that over the course of the times begin to happen organically. So you've been practicing getting in, just getting green and getting out, so that you have a confidence with getting into trades. And then the next thing is, there's all these little things that start to come up along the way. How far, how high, what do I do? What am I looking at? And all those things start to happen organically. But if you can get into trades and get green trades and get out and connect green days, more green days than you've had red days on your paper account, and then eventually green weeks and stuff. I remember talking months ago, and then I want to shuffle this over to F2 because he's done such a beautiful job of it. I remember asking how many green, because he was talking about having some success and having some green days. And I remember asking him, how many green days have you had in the last week or two? I think he said like 13 out of 15 or something like that. And I'm like, that's outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. And then we explored some thought processes and stuff with that. And next thing you know, it's like, okay, not too long ago, I mean, probably within the last week or so, he's talking about having his first comma trade. And that's a big day for a trader when you crack that $1,000 mark. And then we're talking about days where you're going, where you're having significantly higher percentages on your account. And we talked about that baseline, getting in, getting green, and getting out in relation to, can I have 1% a day? And then, oops, I made 2%. And then I got in and I made 1% today, and that turned into 5%. Well, F2 hit a day where he had 150% of his whole account in one day. He had another day following it where he upped his account 40% of his whole account. So what I'm talking about works. If we have to fight, we have to go, like you said, we are battling ourselves when we're pushing and learning. And I know for a fact it was frustrating because I could hear it in his voice and stuff as he was growing and learning and doing and stuff. And then, you know what? It's like after he just kept getting green day and stuff, I could hear the calmness settling into his voice. I could hear the excitement coming, and stuff. So I'm going to take a little break from me yapping, and I want F2 to talk about maybe some of that transition around where you're pushing so hard to get things to come together, and then, man, things just started to pull forward for you.
What really helped do it, like I said, when Don EMA thing, that's what was the catalyst. But when you talked to me and Ange about, setting that goal of at least 1%, or not exactly 1%, but having a certain goal, and mine was just to be green, whether it was, green a penny or green $5. Then every day I started doing that and took it off the table. That said, no, I got to make all this money. No, you just got to be green.
Yeah.
Growing my account little by little, I saw that, hey, you don't have to swing for the fences every day. You're just going to take the small amount, and in the back of my mind, I want to hit $1,000 every day. But in reality, I know you can't do that. You put too much at risk when you do that. If you take the baby steps, get $20 today, get $100 today. Gradually step up and take that pressure off yourself. And that's what I've done. Now it's like, oh, today I made $15. Okay, we're done for today. We're not gonna do it anymore. My goal is to every Friday I draw my account down to $500, and every Friday, whether I've made $500 that week, $1,000 that week, or if I made $50 that week, I draw it down, and my goal is to take that money and put it against my debt that I have, so I can eventually do this full time without any worries. And that's my ultimate goal, is to do that. And by doing it stair-steppingly, I've taken pressure off myself of having to be hitting grand slams every day, and it's calming.
Good for you.
That's fantastic. That is exactly the organic growth. I mean, I couldn't have said it no better. That's just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Awesome. Yep. And then when those opportunities come up, somehow they just kind of resolve themselves, and you wind up making a boatload more money than you thought at the start of the day, right?
Right.
Yeah, it just starts to happen. Your preparation. Well, I've said it over and over and over. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. F2 has prepared his ass off. He has studied. He works at this every single day. He's always evaluating, always looking, always growing, always learning. And now, and I can hear it in your voice today, you're so much calmer than you were a few months ago. And it's just a better state of mind altogether. And when you have that mindset, you're prepared for success because you're thinking more clearly and stuff. You've just laid down that foundation of the mental mastery of trading, and it just continues to pay off. And like you said, some days it's going to be a $15 day. Another day it might be a $1,000 day. But you know what? That's not the biggest thing to him anymore. He's just focused on having green days and stuff.
He's
and
just focused on green.
It'll just keep coming, and it's just so exciting. And Ange had a similar path. More and more, I get the privilege of talking to people in the afternoon that are headed that direction, and then my goal is to help them with the next step. As they're moving forward, looking for that push to eventually get to the point of pull. And if I can help that person lay down the foundation for it, most of the time, if they have what it takes to do it organically, it'll start to happen. And that's the part that's exciting for me, because I'm not a paid staffer, but it's really exciting to work with people and share those things and help provide the framework for people to succeed. And there is nothing on me that's done it. It is 110% the person that's receiving the information, and it's the internal struggles and the internal pushes to where that push becomes an equilibrium, and then we find that zone, and then the next thing we know, all of a sudden, whoop, we got pulled forward. You got pulled forward by $600, $700, $800, $1,000.
You know what I just thought about?
What?
Stick shift, the neutral and the gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that just reminded me of that, and I'll never forget the instance where I was on the hill and I had this Corvette behind me, and I had just learned how to drive a stick, and I was still brand new at it. And I'm like, oh my God, either I'm going to back into this guy and there's going to be a problem, or I'm going to get up this hill.
Man, that is a great example.
Dude, I was sitting at a red light, and I'm the first one at the light, and I'm like, this is going to be interesting, because I had literally within days had just learned how to drive a stick. So that was the deciding moment where I never had a problem after that again, because I remember taking my foot off the brake and literally putting it on the clutch and the gas at the same time, and felt myself going back, and gave it a little more gas and felt myself slowly going forward. And I thought, and all of a sudden I started playing with it, and I'm like, oh, I remember thinking that. And I'm like, okay. And then boom, I never ever from that point on had a problem with a stick ever again. I kept up to that point, it kept cutting out. I kept giving it too much neutral, and I would stall out. But I realized, okay, there's a point where they meet, and then you give it more gas, and it goes. And it's like, oh, okay, this is how trading. This is what I'm getting from what you're saying tonight. That push at some point, that equilibrium kind of will kick in there, and it'll be more pull, and then we're off to the races.
And once you've shifted that car hundreds of times,
and
taken it to the grocery store a bunch of times, And then the first couple times you pull up to a stoplight, you forget to put your foot on the clutch and it conks out on you and stuff.
Yeah.
That's all pushing to learn and all the cumbersome, silly shit that goes with it. And it's like, oop, you're getting jerked around in the car and people are looking at you a little funny, like,
Right.
what the hell are you doing over there? Well, that's kind of like learning a trade too. You get a
Right.
few funny looks every once in a while when you're learning a trade too. It's like you're jerking around. It's like, what the F,
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I thought I had it. This thing was rolling a minute ago. I forgot to put the goddamn clutch in. Oh my God, hit the brake. Don't hit something. Okay, well, that happens in trading too. So then you just got to like calm yourself, restart the car, center your mind. And
that's
that's
the phase I'm in.
Yeah. And then what happens is and it's just the same way. As long as you're doing the right stuff over and over, eventually you get to the point where you're just not even thinking about shifting. It just becomes an extension of your body. And trading gets to be the same way too, which is why I encourage people to have, don't focus on, 12 million%. Don't focus on millions of dollars. Focus on making 1 penny or more in a trade and then getting that entry and being able to have a green entry, have a good entry, have a green trade and exit a trade. Because, that's just, that's the first trip to the grocery store with the stick shift car. And it is just as clunky learning it. And sometimes we just can't get the feel for it. I was out with my niece one day and oh my God, I thought she was going to tear up that engine and that clutch so horrible. She just could not figure it out. I mean, she's like, there's burning asbestos smell coming from underneath the car. She's like, you just got it wound up and it's making funny noises and jerking, killing the engine. Can't, pull up to a stop sign, starts to go, and somebody almost rear ends us because she got it going 5 miles an hour and then took her foot off the gas, but missed the shift or something. It's like that.
Boom.
Which is why, we tell people to use paper trading accounts. In a car, you have to physically get out there and do it. Otherwise you'll never learn it.
Right.
With trading, you get a paper trading account, you get a simulator. So you're not going to get rear-ended. You're not going to get run off the road. And you can practice all that until it becomes to the point where you can manage it, and then you've got to decide whether or not, you want to start to move into this stuff. So the only thing I'll mention along the way, and it's something that Forrest also alluded to in his comments today, he made 2 really good comments. One of them was in regards to the first thing I said. In regards to the second thing that he had said, I find that if I'm missing something, if I'm not able to make the car go down the road, so to speak, it's something in my current situation. And I'm like, that is wisdom. That is organic growth. That statement does not come from having, seen things in retrospect and having thought about things and gone through the process. And he says, well, what's the 4-step? I said, we'll talk about the 4-step process later too. And he says, what's the 4-step? I'm like, you got to tune in later to find out. 4-step process is what should be common sense, but it's not. I don't care how long people have been around. For some reason, when I tell you, it's gonna be like, oh, well, shit, that's common sense. Well, it's not. For some reason, when we get immersed in something, we just don't always think logically. Sometimes we're thinking about facts. Other times we're feeling the way we're feeling as we move through things. And then we have to kind of dial back and then talk about the 4 steps. One is your current situation. That's your first step. If you guys have a pen or a little pencil, your current situation analysis is the first step. Second step is hypothesis. If I do this, then this should happen. It's called if and then. And I'll come back, and this is not going to be quite as cumbersome and confusing. And then the third step is to do it. Literally, just execute your plan. And then the 4th step is verification. So to go back, current situation analysis, hypothesis. It's the if then. If we do this, then this. Third thing is to do it. And then the 4th thing is, did I get the result, the intended result? If you got the intended result, you can move on. Problem solved. In reality, this is how our minds are supposed to work. But sometimes there's shit that just interrupts it, and it doesn't seem to flow that way. So if I think about where I am, what I need to do, and then I do it, and I should have the intended result, that gets more complex with complex problems. So if my theory is, how do I pick up the toys in the yard? My current situation is I got toys all over the goddamn yard. my hypothesis is if I go out there and take my happy ass out there and pick them up, there will be no more toys in the yard. Third thing is I go out and do it. And the fourth thing is I go out and as I stand there on the front porch and look in the yard, there's no more toys in the yard. That's simple as shit. The hard part is when I want to get into the stock market, and I want to make money, and then I want to be all kinds of rich, and then I just want to sit back and do nothing. That is a far, far more complex situation. So the ADT trading strategy and stock market education is how you begin to navigate that. And all of the little things that you do along the way involve that 4-step process. So if something isn't quite working, you missed some. If you get to step 4, you step back and did it work 100% of the time, and you're going to have to trust me on this until you've worked through this a bunch of times. 100% of the time, you have missed something in the current situation analysis because you weren't able to develop a hypothesis that was going to allow an execution for success. So if you get to the end result and you didn't get the intended result, it can either be you just had a bad attack program, but usually if you have a bad plan for attack, if I do this, then this, you miss something in the current situation analysis. So I hear all the time people say, I followed what coach was saying and I lost money. And you know what? This isn't anything on you. You're not like a slow person. You're not a dumb person. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that this is a very complex thing to do. Results not guaranteed, he says, right? Not everybody will have Absolutely. What it takes to do this. So, you come in, you find out if you have the ability and the skill and the wherewithal to learn it and execute it and do it. So it's not super easy. This is a very complex thing. So if you are looking to get in and get green and get out, one of the simplest things that we can do is to watch for or beginning to have successful trades is to have a good entry, be able to make a penny or more, and being able to sell it and get out. That is the most fundamental thing. If you cannot do that, you're missing something in the current situation. You're missing your entry. You're missing the candlesticks. You're missing the EWO. You're missing VWAP. You're missing the 921 and 55. You're missing the indicators. You're missing something in the broader picture about volatility. You're missing something because if you're not able to do that, until you're able to do that, you can't take the next step. You can, but you're building a house on sand.
Right.
You can and for God's sake, don't begin with options. It just takes everything and extrapolates things beyond what your mind can comprehend. So you're going to hear about things in the classroom because we don't have a kindergarten through PhD levels where you're going to be in and assimilated with everybody at the exact same steps. You're going to be in the room with people who are working on getting their first get in, get green, and get out scenario. And you're going to be working with people who have been doing it for years and executed thousands of trades with complex options trading strategies and knocking down as much as 6 figures in single trades. Don't look at that and say, why can't I hit that? Take things much more simply. Take your current situation, develop a hypothesis, and then work on it. And that's different. It's a different beginning place for everybody. There are different steps along the way. So at any point in time, you can reach out on a live microphone all day, and you can talk to Coach. You can talk to myself. You can talk to Ange. You can talk to Aaron. Talk to Dawn. Dawn lives in that room. I swear to God, you can reach out to any one of us and ask, hey, this is my current situation. I'm not getting the result. And we're going to say, okay, let's take a look at what you're seeing. And we'll kind of go back and visit it with you and then see where things are at and help you line up that shot, so to speak, so that you can do that over and over and over. So yes, I mean, we're talking, today is about, today's aftermarket show is about, push becoming pull. And this is the environment for it. This is where you can come and to get it. You can't go to your local technical college and get it. Chances are, if you go start a 4-year business degree, there's a whole shit ton of extra things, and they're never going to cover any of this.
Right.
They're just not. They're not going to teach you how to trade when you go to college. You might get a business degree and go to work for a trading firm, and then you can start stumbling through it after you spend $250,000 to get educated, and you're still going to be pushing. The beautiful thing is, if you have reasonable math skills, and if the good Lord's given you a mind to trade, then you can sign up for these. You can sign up for this, and it doesn't cost you $250,000. You can get in for, less than the price of a college course, and start making those strides. And there's always going to be somebody in the room that you can reach out to, and you can always join us in the after hour show. We're going to touch on some of these things, and sometimes we're just talking about movies and silly shit because we need to unwind for the day.
That's it.
But it's here, so
it's here for you.
Yeah, you don't have to like muddle through a book and try to figure it out and grab.
You have live people you can talk to here, people.
You ever tried to read a book on trading? Holy shit!
Oh.
If it isn't the level that you're at, which it never is, it's either incredibly mundane or silly or simple, or it's so far beyond that you're looking up the dictionary, trying to find out what things are,
right.
and you're trying to muddle your way through on a book. And you can read. I highly encourage people to read, but we have videos here. We have videos with real people talking, explaining it the whole way along. You don't even have to buy the damn book. There's hundreds and hundreds of videos in here.
Live trades,
live training. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting place to be. And education, developing a mind to trade is the foundation of becoming a trader. If you do not have a mind to trade, you won't be able to trade. And that is just as simple as that. Well, and we talk off and on about different aspects of that, where you are emotionally at the start of your day. How do you prepare your day? What's going on in your personal life? We don't need to know all that, but you need to know, are you able to give yourself some quiet space for that first couple hours of the day so that you can really, really focus and hone in on it and stuff. So there's a lot to it. So, but anyway, today, if you are in the pushing area and you're pushing to learn and you're pushing against yourself, take a deep look at your current situation, because if you're not where you want to be yet, it's just one at a time, a little bit by little bit. You need to start chipping away at the things in that current situation that allow you to have a hypothesis that's going to work so that you can do it and get the result. And the most fundamental, the most basic aspect of that is to have a green day trading. Take one share on your paper trading, enter it, get to the green side and exit it, and do it over and over and over, so that day after day after day, you can develop that mental foundation of what it's like. And then organically, it can start to pull you forward. But you can't do it without that. It's just the most basic point.
Who in here hasn't had at least one successful trade where they executed it properly on purpose? You know what I mean? It's because everybody's done it at least once, where they knew what they were doing. They've reflected on coach's teachings. They've heard something you said and it clicked. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, yeah, let me execute this trade. And they've done it successfully. Well, if you've done it once, you can do it over and over again. It's just you getting consistent with it,
and understanding how. Because when I the very first time I had ever even gotten into trying to make some trades, I was kind of scrapping my way through a little bit, just trying to figure out how to have a green day.
Yeah.
And I followed somebody else's trade that was a family member, and I accidentally made a shit ton of money, but I really didn't know how it happened.
Happened to me.
Yeah. I mean, I was all too happy to follow along, and they were pushing me, and it was more like, I got to say, I was more like cattle being herded at that point. Like somebody was behind me, poking and prodding me to get me through the chute. Mm-hmm. And I accidentally made some money, and then I was like, "Wow, this trading's great," And I had nothing. It had nothing to do with my mindset or anything else. I was like, "Wow, I have to learn this." It's like I just challenged myself. It's like, okay, for the most part, I can tackle and learn things, but
that Netflix trade, I'll never forget that. And I had no rhyme or reason for getting the strike price that I did, other than the fact that, oh, I can afford to do a $160 contract today. So let's go with that. Can't afford to do 300. And there's, I can do more than 50. Let's do once. It just was up in the air. It was just like, let's go with this one in the middle. There was no strategy behind it. I didn't even look at any candles when I got into the trade. Now, in retrospect, and I'm like, holy shit, that was a complete accident. I could have lost 164 if Netflix hadn't done what it had done. It just stepped up. But it was weird because I remember saying to Coach, Netflix just annihilated pre-market setup to the upside.
Yeah.
And jumped in it as soon as I said that. I didn't do a whole lot of thinking. This was when I first began to understand support and resistance and why they did the pre-market setup. And I thought, wow, you know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and jump in this. So there was a little bit of learning there, but it's nothing near the understanding of it that I have now. But to make $2,000 when you don't know what you're doing, that can hurt you, because you really think that, oh, it's just, hey, let's throw something against the wall and hope it sticks. And that's not it at all. You can begin to make trades like that on purpose once you get down to get in, get green, get out with just a couple of pennies on purpose. You got to master where to get in.
Ever been on anybody, if you're American, chances are, if you're American, you might have a couple extra pounds in the middle. I'm just saying. We got a pretty good life over here in America. We get some pretty good meals, and most of us can cook pretty good at home. You ever try to lose 5 pounds? Ever try to lose 10 pounds? I know I have. Good Lord, I'm a little overweight. I'm not bashful to say I'm a little overweight. But
going through it right now.
If you've ever gone on a diet, you realize there's sticking points. Anytime you take on any sort of endeavor, whether it's a diet or learning to trade, there's going to be sticking points. And to your point earlier, Dawn, when you reach those sticking points, don't look all around you. Look inside, because the answer is always inside of us. If we have reached a sticking point for one reason or another, it's not because they put extra calories in Twinkies and we snuck one in the middle of the night. It's not because we had a 12-ounce steak instead of a 6-ounce steak. It is because there's something that we're going through, some sort of a challenge and stuff. It's much the same way with trading. So if we're not advancing to the next level, or if we're just not getting where we want to be, and we're going to have sticking points. We're going to be like, I did this and this and this and this, but this didn't happen. I did this and this and this and this, and then this still didn't happen. So I went back and did this and this and this and this, and it still didn't happen. And then you look back and say, well, fuck, I've just done the same thing 3 times in a row, the same 3 steps, and I expected different results. It's like, okay, well, step back, take a breather. The reason you didn't get something different is because you didn't do anything different. Right. Take a look a little deeper inside. What caused this to not move forward? What inside of me? What was my process? Because sometimes you can do something the same way 4 and 5 times, and then somehow it just doesn't quite work. There was something we missed. There was a market dynamic that shifted. There was news that came out on a stock. And you may have done those things successfully in the past, and then something is like, whoa, shit, And now we talk about, Coach talks about, putting stops in place. The 2 most important things you can do is enter a trade, and then the other number one most important thing is to put your loss mitigation in place, and that's to put a stop in, and then learning where to put the stop and stuff. And it was like, oh my God, I got in this and I keep getting stopped out, and I'm just losing little bits and stuff. It's like, well, okay, step back. What did what's the program? What's the percentage? How do I determine how to set this, and so on and so on and so on. So anyway, it always falls back to the current situation. As you develop that current situation and advance it, and then you get to your point of success, then you take on the next thing, and you just keep chiseling through. And sometimes you have to step back a little bit, but yeah. And then eventually, if you persist and you have the God, and God has given you the ability to do it, and we have the ability to overcome ourselves, which is the number one thing in learning anything, then at some point your endeavor will go from push to pull. And then it's just like that stick shift car. All of a sudden, next thing you know, you're just out driving around, and the shifting, you're not even thinking about it. You're just in there, and people say, well, how does that happen? Or how did you get those trades? And how do you get through all that chop? Why are you trading in chop? Why are you scalping in chop? That seems like insanity. I'm getting hacked up. You know why? Because I've shifted that car 1,000 times, and I can just see it. I can feel it, and I can do it.
And at this point, I'm now racing the Corvette.
Yeah. Well, there is something to that too. So, but all that matters is, is that we establish our baseline, and we get, we get it, and then we have those wonderful days where something extra comes into our life, and we feel a little blessed and a little richer for the people around us who have shared their time and their wisdom and their thought processes and their viewpoints and stuff. And that does not matter from what direction, because we are all the same. Nobody is more than, nobody is less than. Everybody in the room is the same. And we all share and learn and grow together.
Well said, Paul. For sure.
So thank you for letting me take the time to cover that stuff with us tonight, and thank you so much, F2, for being vulnerable enough to step up and talk about the struggles and success that are part of the process, and congratulations on your continued success with it. And I wish you the best moving forward.
Thank you for thinking of me and using me for examples, and just the encouragement I get from you guys. It's humbling, and you said the other day you can't wait to see me from a year from now. That sunk with me for the last few days. I thought about that, and I'm excited to see what I can get accomplished from now to this time next year. Will I'll be in the retirement club, or I'll be, I still got some steps to take to get there, but if I keep growing and my knowledge keeps helping me out the way it is, I'm almost to the point where I'm profitable from blowing up my account from before, and it's all because of this. So,
and the cool thing is, F, is it's just like in the trades. It's the consistent trades. It's the consistent days. Well, all you need to do is continue to just focus on that. You now know. It's like, I remember that movie Hitch, right? Where he teaches all of these guys how to date women, how to get women, right? And there was a point in his training them where he says, okay, if she agreed to go out with you, okay, it's no longer your job to get her to like you. She already agreed to go out with you. So she already admitted through not actually saying it that she likes you. Now it's your job not to screw it up, right? Yep. So that's where you're at. It's like you already know how to trade and trade successfully. Now at this point, just stay where you're at and put it on cruise control and keep doing what you're doing. David always talks about sizing up. This is one of the most successful traders in the organization, and his struggle is sizing up. The only thing that stops David from already having become a millionaire is the fact that he has imposter syndrome. He can't believe that he's making this much money and he's doing it, but he is, and he's doing it consistently. When he gets over that, and God knows when it'll be, could be 10 years from now, because one day it'll happen. He'll realize he's just got this. He's instant millionaire. He can do it probably in one trade. So it's like that is on the back burner. What you're doing is you're just getting the process. You're getting the process, and you've got the process. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Hey, Don, you know what? A downside of being a driven person is you don't like being told what to do, and that resonates with me a lot because I'm a very driven person.
Me too.
So when somebody tells me to read a book or watch a certain movie, I'm like, F off. I'm like, I just don't like being told what to do. It's a character flaw, but but anyway,
especially if you're a leader, you're like,
I don't know.
I already know that.
It's because every time somebody reads a book, they think everybody else needs to read it, right? It's like,
right.
I just read this book. Everybody should read this book because it's wonderful. It's changed my life. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to do the one thing that I just absolutely resent being done, but if you're kind of in the push category, it doesn't matter if you're in the push category, just being motivated to succeed further. It's like there's a movie from, I don't know, a little while back. It was called Miracle on Ice. It was about the U.S. hockey team going to the Olympics and stuff. And if you got an hour and a half to kill and $2.99 for your home's cable service, or
YouTube,
or if you get on Netflix or something like that, a YouTube, Miracle on Ice, it's like, God, you watch. It's like it's kind of like seeing Rocky for the first time. If you've never seen something like that, you just feel like you want to go and rule the world after an hour and a half of it. But
okay, I'm doing that tonight, Palm.
It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good to watch it. It's exciting, and everybody on the face of the earth can relate to, digging in and wanting something that much. And but yeah, that's pretty cool one if you got time to kill. But anyhow.
Well, thank you for being such an amazing guest and always an amazing teacher. I appreciate you coming on here and sharing your thoughts with us and guiding us through this journey, because that's what it is, and you mentioned a diet, because, Jen and I, that's kind of our thing. And it's kind of like this trading thing. It has to be a lifestyle change. Diets don't work. It needs to be a mindset change and a lifestyle change. This is who I am. I think this way about my relationship with food. I think this way about my body, and you find that slowly but surely, one day at a time, doing little bits of that, it's the same as trading. It's get in, get green, get out. Okay, I had today of 1,500 calories. I had today of only eating raw. Jen and I are back on the bus of trying to get completely raw again, or high raw. You know what I mean? Well, it's just like with trading. Trading, in order to, and Ange talked about this a lot. She ate, slept, and breathed trading. If you want to really be a successful and really good trader, you got to dig in. It needs to be a lifestyle change. It can't be I traded a little bit today, I traded a little bit here and there. If you really want to get good at it, you really got to dig in and really do it all the time and let it really consume you, right? But do it the right way. Do it at a pace where you're not burning yourself out. But you can do it. You guys can do this. We all can. And those of you that have come tonight, thank you. F2, as always, brother, thank you for being on the panel and sharing your successes with us. I'm so proud of you. You took it seriously and took things and ran with them, that I've said, that Palm has said, that Coach has said, Ange. So hats off to you, man. Hats off. Keep it up.
I'll leave you with one statement. We call actors and actresses all actors now, right? It's just kind of a universal term. So there was something that resonated with me a long, long time ago. And I'm going to use the word man by like human. Okay. So anything a man can do, I can do. That's not sexist. Anything another person can do, I can do. And think about it for a second.
Yep.
I mean, if you had to, you could do surgery on somebody else. If you were left with nothing, you could. We watch these goofy shows on TV, Survivor and stuff like that. Anything another person can do, I can do. And you just want it, and you go and do it. And everybody in this room can do anything that anybody else is doing with some persistence. And it's like, let the process decide if we can't, or let the good Lord with our abilities decide if we can or can't. But just know tomorrow that when you wake up tomorrow, that you can be a successful trader if you want to be. And if somebody else can do it, I can do it, because there's nobody more than, there's nobody less than. If another person can do it, I can do it. If somebody can build a porch on their house, I can do it. If somebody can have a dog and care for it, I can do it. If somebody can learn how to drive, I can do it. If somebody can learn to trade, I can do it. Everybody can do it. You all can do it. We can all do it. Give her hell tomorrow, guys.
Yes. All right. Everybody have a wonderful night. Shout out to all of you down there in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and end with Coach's rules, as we normally do. And don't forget, and hopefully you guys journaled this, but as Palm said, look at your current situation analysis. Step 2 was the hypothesis. Step 3 was go ahead and do it. And let me just double check, Palm. 4 was verification, right?
Yeah, step back and see if what you did worked, and if
Yeah.
not, you got to go back and find it in your current situation. Something you missed something that didn't allow you to develop the right hypothesis to get there. Yep. So those 4 steps, that is problem solving for life, no matter what you're doing. Those 4 steps, embed that in your brain for the rest of your life. Write it on a piece of paper. Maybe do a little fill in the blank from time to time.
Yep.
Pick some problem that you got going on, and then start working that. And if you can train your brain that way, you're going to live a different life.
You're golden.
It's
All right.
It's going to change your life. Yep.
Absolutely. Peace and blessings, y'all. Catch you tomorrow at 4 a.m.
Take care, guys.
Some of the rules that we have to and live and die by in here is do not lose more than 1 to 3% of your total account value in any given day. Make sure you have stop losses on each and every trade, regardless of shares and or options. Make sure you guys are practicing small base hits. Don't go for home runs. Allow the runners to run and stop out the losers. If you're a new trader, make sure you are paper trading using a simulated trading system such as Webull or some of the other ones that are out there. Also, if you're a newer trader, please don't trade in the first 30 minutes or the last hour of the day. Those are the most dangerous times. If you are an expert trader, please make sure you also are being careful the first 3 minutes and the last 8 to 9 minutes of the day. Those are the absolute most volatile times in the entire market.